I usually see men struggling with fat loss because they're making one or more of these mistakes that I'm gonna cover in this video. So by the end of this video, you'll have 10 fat loss mistakes and you'll have fixes for these to make sure you lose fat. Number one, you're eating too little calories. This is a mistake I see a lot of men make. Just severely restrict their calories, end up losing muscle and slowing down their metabolism, making it harder to lose fat in the long term. And also, let's not forget the fact that your energy levels will be affected and likely your sleep. So you want neither of these to happen. So what I recommend doing is eating no less than a 20 to 25% calorie deficit. And that's roughly your body weight in pounds times by 12. Mistake number two, you're being too restrictive. Being too restrictive with your diet can actually lead to you overeating. It makes your diet less sustainable, less enjoyable, which means you have a greater chance of overeating because you start to crave these foods. So what I recommend you doing, I recommend to all my clients, is actually using a flexible approach. That's 80% of the time you're eating whole foods that are according to your plan, and 20% of the time you can eat foods like cakes, you can eat crisps, you can eat whatever you fancy really. A 2022 study actually found that flexible diets are no less effective for fat loss than restrictive diets. So don't worry, you don't have to overcomplicate it. You don't have to be too restrictive. You can still have that flexible approach and get the results you want. The next one is not doing strength training. I actually made this mistake first myself and I didn't like the results and ended up gaining my fat back because I didn't like the way I looked. So what can happen is you'll focus too much on cardio, you'll lose muscle, you'll lose fat, and you'll be at your desired weight, or what you think is your desired weight. Then you'll look yourself in the mirror and be like, shit, I'm skinny fat and I want to make changes. But then you won't know where to go. So to avoid this, I recommend actually doing resistance training, primarily focusing on resistance training. You can include cardio in the mix, but focusing on resistance training and getting stronger, building muscle, supporting your current muscle will give you the best possible shape when you actually do lose that fat. Also, research has suggested that not only do heavier people enjoy strength training more, they're actually better at it too. They're actually a lot stronger. So what you can do is you can focus on using the extra weight you have in the gym, lifting heavier weights, building more muscle, and actually getting ahead of the game, getting ahead of the results you're going to want. You're going to want to look better and you're going to want to feel better. That's your ultimate goal. So why not do it with something you can actually enjoy? Mistake number four is not getting enough sleep. Research has shown that not getting enough sleep can impact muscle growth and also impact fat loss. And from a logical standpoint, if you're not getting enough sleep, you're going to feel tired and you're not going to want to train or have the energy to train. So I recommend aiming for 7 to 9 hours sleep a night. What you can do right now is figure out how much you're actually sleeping now and then slowly increase that by like 30 minutes. Go to bed a tiny bit earlier, or I actually recommend going to bed a tiny bit earlier. Number five is not staying hydrated. This can impact your mental and physical performance. So it can affect your performance in the gym and day-to-day with everyday life. And research has shown that water will help keep you full. And not only that, it can help boost your metabolism. I should actually say make sure you're drinking enough fluids, because stuff like juices, teas, coffees, all count towards your fluid intake. And your fluid intake is easily worked out by doing your body weight in pounds times by 0.5. That will give you how many ounces of fluids you need to be consuming a day. So for example, I weigh 230 pounds. So by 0.5, that's 150, give me 115 fluid ounces of water. It's about 3.4 liters. I use Google to convert this. Then for every half an hour exercise, I can add in 12 ounces of water, which is off the top of my head about 0.35 liters of water, or 350 milliliters of water. The next one is not being consistent. People will tell you consistency is key, but everyone is consistent. You're consistent with the bad habits you have. You're consistent with maybe some of the good habits, but if you're not consistent with the right habits and the right plan, it doesn't mean much. It can actually not serve you. So you need to have the right plan, blueprint, habits, however way you want to look at it, and be consistent with those. So your plan has to be able to serve you. It has to be able to fit you rather than you fit the plan. If you're not able to be consistent with a specific plan, you probably need a new plan. Number 7 is actually having a plan. The internet is an amazing thing. You can Google and search for a plan, or you can use an AI tool like ChatGPT, ask it to make you a program. Fair enough, that program will serve you, could serve you for 6, 12 weeks, maybe even beyond, but there's one problem. That program is not suitable for you. It's just based on what you've told it or based on what you've Googled, and it might not work when things get busy or just when life gets in the way. So make sure you can take a plan and make it sustainable and make it fit you. Even if you rework that plan or ask someone like me to take a look at your plan, and make sure you highlight how many times a week you can consistently train. If you don't make this plan suitable to you, you won't stick with it long enough. You won't be able to be consistent with it. Look, a lot of people say this, but not enough people focus on it. Not being patient can significantly impact your fat loss, because if you're not patient, you think it should take X amount of time and it doesn't, you're going to keep just jumping off that horse. Focus on progress, not perfection. That will keep you patient, honestly. Focus on things like pictures, taking pictures, looking at the weight you're lifting. If you're getting stronger over time, that's a very good sign. Pictures, measurements. You can say look at weight, but don't do that too often. And also make sure that when you're checking progress, you're not looking at progress week after week after week. It could be the average. Well, it likely will be the average. So if you're not getting progress, for example, in 2 to 3 weeks, you haven't seen any progress, and then you might want to change some things on your routine, but make sure you're actually tracking progress properly. Number 9 is not tracking your food. By not tracking your food, I don't necessarily mean getting out MyFitnessPal and tracking your food, but you can do that. What I mean is not knowing even what kind of you're eating, full stop. So what I recommend doing is taking a food diary. You have to know where you are currently to know what you need to change, and to know exactly, the changes over time to get where you want to be. You can't not know. So take a 7-day food diary, understand what you're currently doing, punch those into like a calculator or whatever suits you. Punch it into MyFitnessPal, even if it's just temporary. Just see what you're averaging out daily and then make changes accordingly. You don't have to track forever. Most people actually, not most people, I'd say it's 50-50 in terms of who I recommend tracking versus who I don't recommend tracking. But it's not something you have to do, but you can do if you feel like you're doing everything I've mentioned in this video and you're still not getting results. Then it's probably a good time to start tracking. Number 10, the final mistake you're making that's stopping you from losing fat is actually not seeking professional help. Say you're doing all the above, I say all above again. I mean, everything I mentioned in this video, you keep doing, you're doing consistently well over time, you're getting some results, but you're getting nowhere near the results you want. Then what you want to do is you want to reach out to someone like me, or it doesn't have to be me, it can be like a PT or a dietitian or a nutritionist, and get some advice. Honestly, it's going to save you a lot of time, a lot of pain, a lot of struggle by seeking professional advice. Get advice from someone that's failed doing everything you're trying to do and knows where to guide you. I think that the most underrated thing about having a professional or working with a professional is the guidance and support you get along the way that keeps you on track and keeps you accountable. So you can do that. You can reach out to me, or reach out to someone that's more local to you, or someone you feel like you resonate with more. Either way, get some help. It's worth the investment all day, every single day. You didn't try and do your degree, you didn't try and do your A-levels on your own. You went to school, you invested time when you could have actually been doing something else. So just think about that right there. Anyway, that's all I wanted to cover in this video. If you've enjoyed this video, I want you to comment below what you enjoyed the most, or comment below with any questions. This not only helps the algorithm, helps it be seen by more people like you, but it also helps people like you get some answers in a question box. If you've got a deeper question, feel free to send me a DM on Instagram at AdamScottFit. And until the next video, keep pushing your limits.